So it's been a busy day already. We got the pork back from the processor, and I've already delivered a little bit, but the rest of this I need to put away. Got some plastic bags to put it in, help sort it out. So this cooler is ours. Give you a quick look at what we got. So here is some of the ham. It's sliced at a 1/2 inch thick. So here is the bacon that we got. Got a few packages of that. That's pork shoulder, and I believe that this is 1 cut in half. So it should have been twice as big. So I'm gonna throw ours in here. This is the freezer with all our chicken and turkey. So there is our entire pork shoulder. That's how big it would have been if we wouldn't have had it cut in half. So this bag right here is just ham and bacon. It's our cured meats. Baby back ribs, spare ribs, pork chops, and 20 pounds of sausage. So here in the back of the truck, this is my aunt's and then Rebecca's best friends. They won't get theirs for a day or so, so we're gonna put it in the freezer. All right, got all that meat put away in the freezer. And the way that all works, when you buy it off of like an individual like me, when you buy a half or a whole, I am selling them the animal. They pay me for half the animal or all the animal, and then they have to pay the processor their fee to turn it into whatever cuts of pork that they want. And not all processors are the same. They're gonna have different fees. They're gonna package differently. And the place we went to, their standard packaging, which is included in the butcher price per pound, is just to wrap it in paper. And in my experience and my opinion is this is probably the least, has the least longevity, I guess would be the way to put it. This is probably not gonna last the longest. It'll get freezer burnt over time. And I've also seen a butcher that would wrap it in plastic and then would wrap it in paper. So it was like a double wrap. And I do think that that is a lot better than just the paper. And then what I think is the best wrap to go with is we ended up paying extra for this, but we got it vacuum sealed this year because we usually take, when we get a half a pig, this last year, it took us 2 years to eat it. And all the stuff we had in paper is all freezer burnt after 2 years. So this year we decided to go with the vacuum seal, and we've had food vacuum seal. As long as the seal is not broken, we have ate stuff in this that seems perfectly fine after 2 years. So when it comes to the ground meat, most butchers will put it in a container like this. It's plastic sealed. I think that's probably the best way. And I have had some butchers where they wrap it in paper and plastic, or plastic and then paper. And this is 1.5 pounds of ground meat right here. And to me, of course, I think these are probably the better choice. And when it comes to picking a butcher, our biggest decision mostly has to rely in cured meats, which cured meats we think taste the best. And that comes to the bacon and the ham. And it could be the sausage as well, if there's a certain flavor of sausage that tastes better to you at a certain butcher. So when we pick a butcher, I think it's more vital when we pick it for a pig, because there's cured meats with that. Now when we go and we get a steer butchered for beef, we're not as critical. At least I'm not. To me, I would rather have it vacuum sealed, and some places will include that in the price. And it's just the standard way that they do it, and that's what I prefer. But when it comes to beef, it's mostly the way they cut up the steaks and grind everything up. And to me, that's not a big deal if it differs just a little bit. My big deal is pork and having a ham or bacon that actually tastes right. So it turned out last year that I think a lot of people had some bacon they thought had an off flavor to it. And we've used this butcher for a few years now, and it was probably, maybe they just had a bad batch or something, but I hate to find that out, that where I take it to get it processed, that our people who buy it off of us end up having product that doesn't taste as good. So I think next year probably try a different butcher. And some of these butchers will have display cases where they sell their sausage and their ham and stuff like that, and you can buy it beforehand and you can try it and you can see if you like the way they make it before you ever, you know, end up having a whole hog processed. So I think we are going to probably go around and do a little bit of taste testing at some other butchers, and we may go somewhere else next year. I know Rebecca's going to want to try the bacon first thing off. She'll probably want to try some bacon tonight or tomorrow. I should thaw some out, and she'll want to make sure that it tastes right. But last year, see, we didn't get any pork last year. We just sold it all, so we had no idea that there was a little bit of off flavor in some of it. And we've had good luck with them in the past, so hopefully it was just kind of a one-off, and hopefully everything's fine this year. All right, let's go check on the livestock. Ever since I opened this sorghum Sudan grass back to the cattle, they have been a little hard to find because they're somewhere in there where you can't see them. So right here's the only one I see. This is Oliver, our new bull. Hey, Ollie. Well, I see about 4 of them right down there. So it's December 28th now. We had our last Christmas get together yesterday, so Christmas is over with. And I have tried to take somewhat of a break from YouTube, like a mini vacation. And I've tried not to do, over the last couple weeks, I think I've only made like 1 video. I've tried not to really film anything. I've just tried to almost completely ignore YouTube, all the comments, all of the messages, and just take a break, separate myself from that. And I just needed you know, you just need to take like some type of vacation and let go of all of that. And I'm glad that I did. So this may be something that I do every year. Maybe I should do it a couple times a year, but I definitely feel, I think, recharged. Like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out here and get some stuff done. It was good to take a break. And I guess I didn't really take a break. I stayed really busy. It was all boring stuff that I wouldn't normally put in a YouTube video because I don't think it's entertaining. So a lot of these little jobs don't get done because I don't feel like they're really worthy of a video. So then a lot of stuff just doesn't get done around here. So I've spent several days out here cleaning up the workshop. And I think I showed this in my last video. Everything was all over the floor. You can see we can get a car in here now. Everything's up on the shelves. Middle bay is free. And then this bay over here, this is mostly free. We've still got our welding stuff and stuff laying out. But the big mess is this pile of metal. This is what I do all my welding projects out of. And I need some way to be able to store that. And then I'll have the whole floor freed up where I can actually get like 3 vehicles in here in the garage, or I can work on stuff. So besides the garage just needed to be cleaned up and organized, I had a second reason to do it as well. You all know we have an Allis Chalmers tractor in here torn apart, and I have several parts that need to be painted. So before I can put it back together, and to do that, I'm going to set up the paint booth. We got that inflatable paint booth. It takes up a large area, and I needed some floor space to be able to set that paint booth up in here. So now I have it. So next time, maybe when we have a rainy day, I can set that up in here and I can at least get some parts painted. And I've still got the stump grinder here on the back of the tractor. And I think since we got a nice day, we'll go ahead and see if we can grind out some stumps. But first, I'm not sure if I like the way this is all hooked up, so we're going to make some changes. All right, I'm going to show you what I don't like about the way this is set up. So when I lift this up, you'll see that it kind of swings at a curve. But if I lift it up all the way, it almost hits the rear fenders. You see that? And in fact, I think it's opened up so much, it can't open the back door, the glass. So on this 3-point hookup, the lift pins down here, the lift arm pins, there's 2 positions. So I'm gonna put it in this upper position, and then it shouldn't lift as high, and then I'm hoping that maybe it'll lift more straight up and down and less of an arc. I got a 1/2 to 3/4 inch adapter so I can use these big sockets. Close. And you ever notice the one you need is the size that's missing from these cheap Chinese sets? So when I was working on that disc, I had to buy the missing sockets. I know they're not impact, but that's all I could find. It's that one. All right, it's all hooked up now. We're hooked up to the top set of pinholes, and I've adjusted the top link so this looks, it appears that it's straight up and down. So we'll move this, we'll see how it looks. So the 3-point hitch is up as high as it'll go, and now I've got an extra few inches in between the fender and the frame. That was a lot closer earlier. And the back glass now clears the top link, so won't have to worry about breaking a window. So I'm gonna walk down the driveway here. I'm gonna start marking all the stumps along the side here where we cleaned out this fence row, and we'll get a count on how many stumps there are, and then we'll start grinding them out. This one here is the biggest one on this fence line. So I marked every stump that is sticking up out of the ground enough that you could trip on it or maybe hit it with like the lawnmower. And just along this side of the driveway, I marked 44 stumps. And the biggest concentration is right here behind me. So from where we ground out our first stump right there, I've got a total of 20 in between it and this tree. There's a lot of little stumps through here, anywhere from 4 to maybe 16 inches in diameter. But I'm not gonna start here. I think I'm gonna go down to the other end, down by the workshop. I'm just gonna start down there and work my way down the driveway. We're not gonna get it all done today, but I'm sure we'll get several of them ground out. Well, I know you're not gonna see it, but I found another stump right there. Brings us up to 45. Plus the one we ground out, that's 46. All right, first one's out. That's probably only like 8-inch diameter. And these smaller stumps, they're only gonna take like 2 minutes to grind out. They're gonna go real quick. It's gonna take me longer to position the tractor and the stump grinder to get centered perfectly over the top of them. That's what'll take the longest. But I think we'll buzz through the small ones pretty quickly. So this tree stump right here, this is probably gonna be a little bit of a challenge because I've got this T-post that is growing right out of the side of the stump. And I have tried to pull this out with this tractor and it lifted up the back end of the tractor. That post is in there. So I'm gonna we're gonna try to grind this stump out as close to that post as possible without accidentally getting into the post. That'll be the trick. And you can adjust the swing speed on this. There's actually a little valve right here, and we will pinch that down a little bit, slow it down, and we'll just go slow at it and just make sure we don't hit it, I guess. At least that's the plan. So I think we've ground this stump down about as good as we can, considering we have this T-post right here in our way. And if we look beside it, you can see this big chunk of stump that's still here that this is grown into. And we've ground down probably 8 inches from the top of that. But I'm hoping we've removed enough stump that I can actually get that T-post to finally pop out of the ground. So we'll grab a chain and we'll at least give it a shot. Well, that T-post came out really easy. Almost embarrassing how easy that actually ended up coming out. But we'll go ahead, we'll grind out the rest of this stump and then we'll move on to the next one. So most of the wood chips and debris end up piled up right next to the stump, but it still throws wood chips fairly far. You can see all these wood chips on the ground here, and they go all the way back here, and you can see them here on top of the trailer. So it's probably throwing wood chips at least 25, maybe 30 feet. But luckily they all seem to go backwards and you don't get them coming back at the tractor. They seem to go away from you. So we've ground a total of 10 stumps so far, and we are all the way down to this big cherry tree stump right here. This is probably the biggest stump we have. It's probably, what's sticking out of the ground is close to 4 feet wide. And this stump right here, I'll probably have to grind it from about 6 different positions to be able to get this entire area, because the roots probably are about 8 feet wide. In this direction, probably 6 feet wide in the other direction. So I'll have a big area to grind out there, and that one will take a while. That is the biggest one in this row right here. Most of the ones we did today didn't take very long. They were pretty small stumps. Probably the biggest one we tackled was 2.5 feet maybe in diameter, somewhere in there. But we do have a little bit of a mess after grinding all this up. So I think I'm gonna grab the small tractor, put the tractor bucket on it, and we'll see if we can pull all the chips back down into the holes, see if we can dress this up a little bit. So I know it's not perfect, but we do have it dressed up a little bit. And I figure this is a pretty good time to stop. We'll save the rest of these stumps for another time, but it is clouding up. It's supposed to rain again this evening. It's rained the last 3 days. Today was like the only day that was pretty decent outside to get anything done, but yet it's extremely muddy. And this is a pretty good project because I can stay on the road or the driveway most of the time and grind most of these stumps, not really tear anything up. If I'm tearing anything up, it's probably the driveway, getting a little bit of dirt and disturbing the gravel, but at least I'm not rutting up the yard. All right, see if we can check on livestock. The barnyard is a muddy mess. Well, all these sheep keep going through all this hay pretty quick. I better fill it up tonight since it looks like it's going to rain tonight and tomorrow. So put the hay spear back on the tractor and see if we can take care of this. Hey, you guys are rushing me. Hey. All right, everybody. Give me some room here. Watch out for a hay avalanche. So right here is probably one of the muddiest spots that we have here on the property from all the cattle walking through here and back and forth between, you know, this hay feeder over here and of course the silage and the protein tubs on the other side, the inside of the barn with the water trough. So I think in the last video I opened this sorghum Sudan grass up to where the cattle could get to it, and they have spent a ton of time out here. They've actually been chowing down on it. Hopefully you can see the amount of trample. This was solid and now it's mostly trampled. The other thing is most of these had like seed heads on them, a lot bigger seed heads than this, and most of the seed heads are all gone. So they definitely been munching down on the tops of the plants, and they're just munching down, I think, on the entire thing, but they have just really worked this over. Like right here, this whole area is trampled. There's nothing even standing. So you can see all of the cattle, they're out here eating this sorghum Sudan grass. There's Tyrone, he's over there. And I know in the video where we brought the bulls here, everybody was all, I think I must have gave off some kind of vibe that I just totally trusted these bulls. Because everybody's like, don't trust a bull, don't turn your back on a bull. And I was just trying to get across that I think he's fairly docile. I don't mean I trust him. No, I don't trust him. I definitely keep my eye on him. Oh, Maya. Out of all of the cattle, you're the one that has to do a flyby right next to me. Well, speaking of everything being muddy, I am definitely making it worse. Oh, speaking of Tyrone, there he is. Hey, buddy. I guess what I was trying to say about Tyrone is, don't worry, I keep my eye out for him. I know where he is at all times. I don't just like blindly trust him. I look out for him.
Ollie. He knows his name. He looks at me. Come here. And they're going to town on those protein buckets.
Maya's an aggressive eater anyway. And look at how she attacks that protein tub. So this is Oliver, the 3-month-old bull that we bought. Rebecca wants to befriend him.
Just because he's so little. He's cute. I can pretend like he's a mini cow, kind of.
Yeah, for a few more months.
Yeah. So these cats are what he wants. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Look, I can draw the cats to me. Come here. Well, stop.
Of course, you grab the cat that's like the
crazy one. Stop. Jealous cannonball. You want some scratches?
It's hard to tell, but I think she likes it.
Is that nice? We just gotta watch her horns. Don't want to take a horn to the eye.
Guess he doesn't want anything to do with you. I just had this feeder filled all the way to the top, and look at you. You've climbed in there, you've packed it down, and it doesn't look like there's hardly, it only looks half full now.
All right. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's good because I thought we had 17, so.
So we hope you all had a merry and safe Christmas. Everything went well with ours, no problems, everything went well.
Yep, we ate too much food.
Gained a lot of weight.
Yep.
Yeah, I personally gained 5 pounds in the last couple weeks. So there was like lots of leftovers, lots of carbs.
Lots of good food. Lots
of good food, yeah. I'm not a big dessert eater, but I do eat a lot of carbs, like a lot of meat and potatoes, so.
Yep, so you're gonna have to change that in a few days.
So Rebecca says we need to go on a diet. I don't know whether we're starting now or you wait until New Year's.
Might as well wait till New Year's. That's what everybody does.
Yeah, might as well just live it up for a few more days. Yeah, so yeah, it looks like we'll be on a diet here pretty soon and hopefully get back down to our normal weight.
Yep.
So we finally got hats in stock and they showed up the day after Christmas. Yeah. It's like perfect timing, right? You're hoping to get them like a couple weeks before Christmas, they show up the day after.
Yeah. But we do have them. We still have like 70 left. So.
Yeah, there's plenty of hats. So we may have over-ordered. But yeah, if you guys are looking for a hat, they are in stock if you want one. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to be it for this video. So we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. You want to say anything?
Time for supper.
Now it's time to eat some more carbs and meat. That's exactly what we need.